we're going to do is we're going to breathe in. And I want you to understand that our processes and exercises are really going direct. You'll notice that I don't spend a lot of time like, oh, get into your heart, oh, get into your cells, oh, get into it. What we do is we breathe and we just redirect your attention. That's how quickly it can happen. We just redirect your attention to an aspect of you where that all lives. And it's just waiting for your consciousness to show up there. So just breathe and bring your consciousness once again. Now that you've done it once, it should be even easier. Bring your consciousness to every one of your 75 trillion individual living entities that each chose to house your spirit and take you on your journey, to facilitate you as your piece of the puzzle of heaven and earth, so that you could have the senses and the instincts and every dimension of assistance that you can get by being physically human and able to play in this heavenly place. Those 75 trillion units of love for your life. And at the center of every one of those units is the DNA and the bridge to the other levels of DNA that would have you remember all of the parts that have been splintered. Remember all the parts that got splintered from the scary things that happened to you, from the hurts, from the pains, from all of the parts of you that aren't allowed in because we have walls. Your life loves you so much that those photons will show up to change your biology so that you can feel like you're in control, have the illusion that those things won't get you, when in reality, you're actually creating a reality where those things will happen because you've now embodied the magnetics of the very things that you're afraid of. Here's how or what we're going to do. We're just going to jump in to regenerate that DNA. How is it supposed to regenerate when we're so afraid? And when the regenerative energy of the universe is actually understanding. And what I'm going to do as the regenerative mechanism is going to be a deepening of the energy of how loved you are by consciousness. But I want you to listen, because my words will contain codes. You are so seen. You are not unseen. You are seen by the entire universe. Oftentimes when we feel we don't fit in, when we feel we don't belong, is because we feel unseen by others. And the reason we feel unseen by others is because they're just as scared. They don't want to see you, because if they saw you, they would be in love. If you saw them, you would be in love. But we don't want to be hurt again. We have the capacity to see others. You have done that. You've done it with puppies, you've done it with babies, because there's no danger there. You're so loved that you have puppies, babies, kittens, all of these things. Even the stories that run amok on YouTube, whereby different animal species are playing together without fear. Over and over and over again, these videos keep showing up on Facebook and on multimedia. Why? Because it is happening more. And in fact, these are activations in and of themselves of how much more love and how much less fear needs to be present. You're being supported by your computer. You're being supported by YouTube. You're being supported by the photon packages of light that emanate from the sun at increasing intensity because of all the solar flare activity that's happened over the last year since 2012 and just before. You are surrounded by assistance. The sun itself, just facing your face to the sun, those photons, as you take them in, that's why sun on your face feels so good. The most powerful place where you can take in that information, those codes, is your pineal gland. That's why it feels so good on your face. It's a mechanism that has a supercharged way of taking in the information. Now, but your whole body also takes into every single one, 75 trillion taker-inners of biophotonic codes to remind you. You're so loved that the encodements to have you be in flow, the love from consciousness that contains all that information, the information to be in flow is just as available as the information to protect you. In fact, the codes, your connection to the entire universe and what you emanate from what you believe and the protective mechanisms that you've made up, that information is emanating out of you through biophotons, and you're so loved that the universe sent you codes to be able to have the illusion that you could protect yourself. When in reality, equally available, never not available, are the codes to upgrade your physiology so that you can remember you are actually creator incarnate, born to actually live directly with all of consciousness, not only with no reason to be afraid, but in fact, and feel me, but in fact, as you upgrade, you will realize that level of frequency that you're living, those upgrades, the new abilities that start to come to you, the default change in the way you be in the world, and the confidence you start to have in your body emanates out of you, and you actually change those around you, the very ones you would have been afraid of. Because the photon packages of the knowingness that you now have, you become an agent of change. You become an agent of awakening. You become a secret agent on the universe's side, sometimes even secret to you. And you start to recognize more and more and more those that are also embodying the same. Those are the ones that you start to be in love with right away. The ones you've been meeting, we know you've been meeting them. The ones that you've been meeting who instantaneously you recognize. Please don't get too attached, because there are far more. As you upgrade, you will all see each other more and more and more. But know that that is what is available for the world. And it is that availability and that new knowingness and that deepening of an already knowingness that actually has the capacity to regenerate the DNA. Because that is where you were meant to live. And this is just the beginning of that journey. Take a moment to just breathe and see how that feels in you. What happens is I bring through the frequencies of the guidance realms of our collective, everyone who's here now, everyone who's going to listen to this replay later, everyone who's going to take Get Out of Your Way to Health and Abundance. We bring through all of the collective, and we open those doorways. We start to bring the love circulation. That is what causes the genes to regenerate, that remembering. It's a beautiful thing, right?